We have to believe in the fact that managers of eminence or leaders of the organization are also people too. More specifically, they are personalities. Their personalities influence the organization. Their personality traits carry the organization for the future course of prosperity. So, here, most important is rewarding relational work. This is an art of a leader. This is an art of a chief executive. How to award a relational work? We reward that what we recognize as valuable. Unfortunately, much relational work, especially interpersonal facilitation, goes completely unnoticed for what it is. The result, out of sight, out of the reward chain. If people are out of the reward chain, definitely there is every possibility they will become depressed. We may also be able to tailor the non financial rewards you give your employees. A person who is strongly interested in influence, for example, is likely to place a high value on the reward of being able to express that interest directly, regardless of formal function. Try to sculpt the job. Try to sculpt the job in a way that follows him to be an influencer. Similarly, find team oriented tasks for your team leader. Even if 90% of his job is done sitting in front of a computer screen, and enlist your interpersonal facilitators aid in understanding the dynamics of people in your team, understanding the dynamics of the people who are working in and around you. It is a very, very essential trait, and that has to be focused in order to lead the team and the organization. Although it may not be easy to find, be on the lookout for creative work to give or to the person interested in relational creativity. We are not suggesting that you take other assignments away from the employees. So, finally, developing relational skills. Your job as a manager or a leader is to keep challenging your people to stretch toward their full potential. Once again, I read this because this is very, very essential. Your job as a leader is to keep challenging your people to stretch toward their full potential. But you have also got to focus on your professional growth. Suggestions for advancing your own or anyone else's relational skills follow. But for the sake of clarity, we have geared the section toward you and skill set. Be warned through that building these skills will feel like swimming upstream because your efforts will not be driven by a fundamental interest in the dimensions themselves. Let us face it, if you are not interested in something yesterday, reading this article probably has not awakened a long dormant passion. You also need to be honest with yourself if the relational demands of a position or long term career path exceed your ability to develop the requisite skills. This philosophy has to be communicated to the workmen, managers of every cadre, and we have to inform them their relational shortcomings, what are that, and how to overcome it. If this approach is adopted in a practical way, the wisdom of talking that position on going down that path. A large gap between relational demand of the position or a career, a large gap between the relational demand of a position or career and your ability to meet that demand can lead to a career breakdown. This has to be avoided, something you certainly want to avoid. Managers are leaders, people. That is why we say in leadership, the primacy of a personality plays a vital role because he has to connect, understand the people, and then lead. A leader shall have the primacy of personality. He has to develop his personality then only he can influence the team and everybody and make them to travel according to his idea of the prosperity, and then only he'll be successful. They have positions on issues. Yes, leaders are also people. They have differing kinds of levels of intellect. They have strategic approaches that they adhere to, closely or loosely articulated by themselves or by others. But the essential truth is that when a candidate assumes office and takes the reins of leadership, organization are being led by a personality. Once again, I bring it to the notice. When a candidate assumes office and takes the reins of leadership of organization are being led by a personality. The same goes for corporate leaders. May align themselves with strategies, management theories, or organizational cultures, but their personalities underlie everything they think and do. Steve Jobs, Jack Welch, Weidman, several, they all were shaped by psychology, emotional makeup, social factors, and personal experience to respond to the world of business in certain ways that have led to success or failure. This makes us uneasy. We have been trained to focus on skills and positions, things we can develop and change as the real substance of leadership, and to discount personality as secondary or superficial is not correct. Neither the corporate appointment or any evolving of leadership to the tunes of a growing organization, the personality of a leader plays very vital role and very important. Character and charisma, once again I tell, character and charisma count in spade, and that is not necessarily a bad thing, because the character and charisma of a leader, a particular chief executive, or the in charge of a project definitely is useful for the organization to necessarily to develop it. A few of the largest and most interesting of our organizational leaders' personalities are showcased in them. You can see a persuasive argument for the fact that good leadership is ultimately defined by a strong personality matched to a particular circumstance, which results in the effective use of power. Every leader had a gift for written rhetoric, an aversion to personal conflict, a strong sense that effective governance could come only through closely maintained personal relationships. These are all several social and relational leaders always weaving attachments to the people. Although the cliche says that power always corrupts, what is seldom said, but what is equally true is that power always reveals. We must remember that power always reveals the real personality of a leader. The power to command. We know how different, of course, but business leader was unique. Power, the power not command and control, but of sensibility and influence. Once again, I read the power not of command and control, but of sensibility and influence, and of personal relationships carefully, cannily gauged and leveraged. Obviously, there is much that distinguishes business leadership with other fields of the leadership. But in any context, the primacy of personality holds true. Once again, I read. In any context, the primacy of personality holds true. Instead of pooh-poohing the fact that attempting to judge leaders solely on their positions and strategies, which will be changing, we should embrace it and ask ourselves who has the right personality for the job, who has the right personality to be the leader of an organization, to lead the organization in all circumstances, while it is in rough condition or is it in happy condition. Once again, we say the primacy of the personality of the leader, which matters very much in the leadership of the organization. Thank you.